What's up, sons? It's Blind Rod with Tech once again, and welcome to the 32nd episode of Mining Rig Wars. Up here somewhere, I'll congratulate the winner, but I haven't had a chance to look quite yet for the finals episode last week. You can check that out up in the corner and probably get a few seconds to get in some last minute poll votes. Once again, the way this works is you submit your rig to submissions at sonofatech.com, or of course going to sonofatech.com/submit your rig, or just click the link on the page at the homepage of sonofatech.com. Submit your rig and then you get entered. Now, if you're just viewing, that's okay as well too, and you can vote and participate by clicking the little I up in the corner and voting for your favorite rig, rigs A through rigs E. There's 5 rigs every week, and then after 3 weeks, we do a finals episode on the end of the month, essentially. Well, not really, because it doesn't really always happen at the end of the month. That doesn't really matter. All that aside, let's get into this week's episode. Welcome back. So starting things off, we have Rig A, SETI Home, and this is by Travis. He's rocking the Intel i5-7400 CPU with 4 ASUS Nvidia GTX 690s, which is super interesting. 4 gigabytes of DDR4 clocked at 2133. He is running on Windows 10, and he has the B250-BTC, a colorful motherboard, which is also interesting because I've never seen one of those. I'd be super curious to actually get my hands on one. He has 2 750 watt HP power supplies, pretty awesome there, with a breakout board and a dual fault protection. Now, moving on to Rig B, we have Black Panther by Colton. He's rocking a G4400 with 4 gigabytes of HyperX Fury DDR4, 2 PowercolorRedDragon RX5704gb, 1 XFXGTR RX4808gb, 1 XFXGTS RX5804gb, and a single ASUS Strix RX574gb. He has the 1000 watt Raidmax Vampire power supply, the Biostar TB250-BTC motherboard, a milk crate is what he used for the case, and it looks pretty clean there, and 120 gigabyte ADATA SSD, 2 CoolerMaster 120mm fans, and a CompulabDisplayEmulator, which is interesting. I haven't seen one of those. I can't find the picture of it actually, and is just under 850 watts while it load. His hash rate is 148 mega hash a second. Next is Rig C, The Mess by Herb. He's rocking 2 MSI RX580 ARMOR 4GB overclocked, a single MSI 570 8GB, another MSI 570 ARMOR 8GB, which is not, I guess, not the Mark II. There's a difference or distinction there. And then he has another MSI 570 4GB. He has a Gigabyte RX 564GB, an ASUS RX 564GB, a Corsair AX series AX760 Platinum power supply, an EVGA SuperNOVA 850 watt gold power supply, an ASUS ROG Strix B250H gaming LGA 1151 DDR4, all that. It's the ROG Strix B250 motherboard, a WD Western Digital 1 terabyte hard drive, and a Crucial stick 4 gigabytes of DDR4 clocked at 2400 megahertz, an Intel Celeron G3930, and he has the risers, of course. His total hash rate is 180 mega hash a second. After that mouthful, we have Rig D, the 12 Nvidia GPU rig by George. He has the ARMOR quote-unquote shelving unit from IKEA, which is holding it all up here, and you can tell that he's basically just hung them all off of there, but the parts are actually 2 separate motherboards, and we're going to allow it because, you know, we're low. It doesn't really fit into a mining farm. However, also we don't have that many submissions for, I guess, 2 rig setups. But he's rocking 4 MSI GTX 1080 Gaming X editions, 2 MSI GTX 1080 Aeros, an MSI M5 Z270 motherboard, the Corsair HX 1200 watt power supply, a Pentium G4400, and 2 sticks of Corsair Vengeance memory. The second one is rocking a PNY GTX 1080 Ti, an EVGA GTX 1080, an MSI GTX 1080 Aero, and 2 PNY GTX 1080s with another Gigabyte GTX 1080. Now, he has the ASUS Prime Z270P motherboard on this one, the Pentium G4400, and a Corsair 1000 watt RMX power supply. Once again, he also has the 2 sticks of Corsair Vengeance memory in this rig. He is rocking Windows 10 Home. And then finally, we have Rig E, always by Min. He's rocking 6 EVGA GeForce GTX 1066GB, 3 MSI GeForce GTX 1066GB, and 2 GeForce GTX 1060s from Gigabyte. So we have 6 from EVGA, 3 from MSI, and 2 from Gigabyte, and another 2 from MSI. They're just a different version. So that's a 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got basically 13 GPUs in here. Well, 14? Let me see. Because he also has a 1060 ARMOR 6GB. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 listed here. And he is powering all that with the ASUS B250 Mining Expert. So supposedly here getting all 14 GPUs on there. 16 gigabytes of DDR4, an Intel i7-8700K. What? And 2 850 watt EVGA SuperNOVA power supplies with a Samsung EVO 250GB solid state drive. The CoolerMaster Hyper 212 for the cooler on there, on that 8700K, which you would need, I guess, of course. And he is in an open air 12 GPU frame stackable rig with about 6,000 solutions a second. Going back through these, I think my biggest complaint here is what's the 8700K doing? For always, it's a little ridiculous. It's a little ridiculous. I mean, there's just, I mean, I don't know. Are you mining with it? Let me know. Moving on to Rig D, I wanted to say, get off Windows 10 Home. Come on, dude. At least upgrade to Windows 10 Pro, or be a real man and get into some Linux, bro. That's one of those jokes. People say, be a real man and get into Linux. Seriously, use a Linux distro. Simple Mining, Hive OS, something along those lines. At the very least, if you have to stick to Windows, 10 Pro is going to allow you to do a lot more stuff with that operating system. It's going to be a lot better. That Home doesn't even really let you turn off updates, which is just awful. Moving over to Rig C, the mess. It's not as messy as I thought it was going to be from the name. Of course, there is a rat's nest. I'd call it the nest, not the mess. That's just a little suggestion on the name there. That's my personal opinion. Other than that, I think it's lined out real good. 1 stick of 4 gigabytes of memory, the G3930. No complaints here for parts. I think it's right on par. And it looks like, you know, the frame was built nice, but maybe a little too small because one GPU had to get stacked up top, you know, and like strapped up there somehow. I don't know. There's one lonely MSI ARMOR up on the top shelf there. Moving on back through to Rig B, Black Panther by Colton. I didn't really have any issues with this rig either, other than possibly the power supply. You are getting close to that max power consumption with the 1000 watt Raidmax Vampire, and I don't really trust Raidmax power supply, so using what, 85% 24/7 on something like that could be a little bit dangerous, so just be careful there as far as power goes. Finally, Rig A, SETI Home, the one we started out with tonight. The parts here are super interesting to me. I wish he would have provided a hash rate so we could know what he's mining, A, and B, what the hash rate of those GTX 690s are, or if it's even viable anymore because of the power consumption and the drop in the crypto market. You know, it's up in the air. I also want to get my hands on that colorful B250-BTC Plus motherboard, but we're in the US here, so I probably won't get a hold of one. If you know anybody from Colorful, hit me up, blindrun@savitech.com. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Mining Rig Wars. Don't forget to vote for your favorite rig up in the corner. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and come on over to the Discord and hang out. If you're into video games, you can also come watch me play video games and chat. Yeah, It's pretty fun. It is a good time, I'll tell you that. Over at twitch.tv/sonovatech_. Other than that, you can also keep up to date with me over on Twitter at sonovatech, and I will see you next Tuesday.